Welcome to our annual Harvest Fundraiser being presented virtually this year, featuring keynote speaker Nikki Corbin, who is the station manager and on-air host for Life 97.3. I'm Lee Elias, chairman of the board of directors. Wherever you are watching this, we invite you to celebrate God's faithfulness. The needs at New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center are being met so we can continue reaching those seeking our free and confidential life-promoting services. This is also the time of year when we publicly express our gratefulness to God for His goodness and provision, and also in the ways He brings together amazing, compassionate individuals in this good work. The reports you're about to hear before Nikki speaks are really pictures that you have helped to paint. We do what we do because like-minded friends like you are participating in this ministry and contributing in a myriad of ways, including prayer support. We are grateful to those who have generously sponsored the underwriting of the Harvest Fundraiser. To kick off the program, here is New Beginnings Executive Director Amanda Jo Grovenberg.
I was pregnant at 16 and gave birth to my oldest son at 17. I had little self-worth and did not know how I could be used by God. Many people along my journey have helped me grow deeper in God's love and as a parent. Someone gently handing me my first parenting book, the family who invited me into their home after my first Christmas service with my son, the woman who saw my ability to teach children on Wednesday nights, and the kitchen crew who walked with me through my two oldest teenage years. They all fed my growth in some way. They taught me so much about God and my worth and giftings in Him, and how to walk through the consequences of my choices, both good and bad. One planted the seed, some fertilize, some water, some help keep the air clean. Some of these people came into my life for a moment or a few times, and some have been walking with me for years and have helped me cut away the weeds that threaten to choke out the Father's light. Some have helped me painfully cut away my dead branches. The small inner circle of people I trust have come alongside me to keep the air clean by helping me work through thoughts and beliefs that, if left alone, may pollute my thinking. Some just let me be when it needed to be just me and God. With each individual who has come alongside me, my own relationship with God has rooted more deeply and beautifully. I'm continually learning how to let God's love, grace, and peace flow through me and out into others who need their own unique gardening to grow their relationship with our Father. That is what we can do as the church. We can be the planter, the tiller, the fertilizer, waterer, filter, the tool giver to those around you who are in need. We are called to come alongside those in the larger community and shine the light of our Heavenly Father to those who are dry, malnourished, choked out, who don't have the seed of our Savior's love. Be what they need, as Jesus was when He walked on this earth. Meet individuals where they are. This is what we attempt to do at New Beginnings. Our mission is to offer compassion, hope, and help to empower people and promote life. We envision a community where all children are cared for from conception. Parents have the opportunity to learn how to develop a safe and loving home, and those who have been hurt by prior choices can receive forgiveness and healing through the love of Jesus. Those are not just words on a page. Each individual who walks through our doors, or calls, or texts, is a child of the risen King. Each person has value, potential, and a specific plan for good in their life and the life of their children. Our job isn't to fix them, or change them, or even heal them. Our job is to be the tools in God's hands so that He can do those things. Let me say that again. Our job is to be the tools God uses to seed, feed, water, prune, filter, and cut back to make way for our clients' roots to grow down deep and beautiful. My question for you is, how can God use you in the ministry? Can you pray? Give time, money, or talent? Are you called to work with clients, the board, or volunteers? Do you have an hour a week or a month to mentor a single parent? How are you able and gifted to help? What resources do you have to give to help grow relationships with our clients? We are all created in the image of our Father, and we all have something of value to give to others. Where are you being called? Would you prayerfully consider how you can partner with us?
AJ's story is inspiring, and as she mentioned, we value the dedicated volunteers who offer their time and talents to share the workload and make this ministry even better. Now, let's hear from more staff, including Nurse Manager Amanda Wheelock, Client Programs and Statistics Manager Tammy Helmuth, plus the newest team member, Brenda Latender.
All of our services are free and confidential. Some of our services include pregnancy testing, prenatal vitamins, and ultrasounds. For education, we have classes on relationships, positive parenting, STI and drug education related to pregnancy. Other topics include prenatal development, infant care, toddler care, life skills, fatherhood, and blending families. Some educational programs we offer are the Car Seat Safety Program, through which clients can earn a free infant car seat. Another program is our SIDS Reduction Program. SIDS stands for Sudden Infant Death. And with that program, clients can qualify for a free pack and play for their babies to sleep in. We obtain the pack and plays through an organization called Cradle of Hope. By distributing the pack and plays, we are participating in the Minnesota State Safe Sleep Initiative. The breastfeeding program is an opportunity for moms to learn more about breastfeeding from our nurses and to earn the basic supplies to get started. We have an on-site boutique at the center with baby supplies, clothing for babies, kids, maternity clothing for moms. We also have food and gasoline gift cards to help meet basic needs. In working with clients and helping them with both current and past choices, we offer adoption options and referrals, and post-abortive care. The post-abortive care promotes healing through following a Bible study curriculum called Her Choice to Heal. Brenda Latender leads women through this study. Next is Brenda to share more.
Hi, as Amanda said, my name is Brenda Latender. I am the boutique manager and a post-abortive care specialist. I want to take a moment and share my heart with you. I lead a recovery program for anyone looking for healing from a past abortion. Her Choice to Heal is a Bible-based program, as Jesus Christ is the only healer. I walk beside the client for a continuous 10 weeks. The first week we meet briefly to see if the program is right for them and if they can commit for the whole 10 weeks. We talk about their abortion story, post-abortion syndrome, the wall of denial, guilt and shame, and focus on Jeremiah 29:11-13, so they know when they seek the Lord, they will find Him. We discuss the root of anger, forgiveness of ourselves and others through Jesus Christ, the grieving process and breaking of sexual soul ties, and finding joy in the mourning of the lost child. We discuss an honoring service, whether they would like a memorial service, and hold the service that client helps design. Previous services have included clergy, friends, family, balloon releases, lighting candles, music, refreshments, crying, and laughter. During the final week, we discuss how God worked in their hearts during the study and final service, and whether they feel called to help others in some way. Clients can choose to work through Her Choice to Heal and be utilizing other education and services through New Beginnings, simultaneously or consecutively, whatever their need.
In 2019, we came alongside 142 individuals, 21 of which were men, to provide services that include ultrasounds, a variety of education, and the meeting of material needs. So far, in 2020, we have assisted 102 individuals and provided 544 services for them. Some of the services include 172 classes, 131 visits to the boutique for new and used items, and 8 ultrasounds. COVID-19 did affect our numbers this year. We were not able to see clients in office from mid-March through the end of June. It did not keep us down though. If you'll remember last year, I mentioned the start of being able to send our education lessons to clients through BrightCourse via text or email. This was God's great provision. With BrightCourse education and the implementation and learning required to do intake paperwork electronically, we were back on track to connecting with clients again. We have continued to see an increase in clients seeking basic needs, such as food, clothing, shelter, and support. We are doing everything we can to find or provide resources to meet people's basic needs.
The exciting thing about the numbers Tammy presented is that they represent real people whose lives have been impacted for eternity by their connection with New Beginnings. I also want to point out that up until Brenda was trained in a half a year ago, the center had served only a few post-abortive individuals during our 15 years of existence, but she has already walked through the healing journey with 3 women in these recent months. Our next speaker has worked diligently and tirelessly to protect life from the womb onward, as he was part of the team who founded this organization, as well as in his role as a family physician at Essentia Health Deer River. Dr. Kyan Hoffman serves as the medical director of New Beginnings in addition to overseeing the Deer River site remodeling project.
I'm a supporter of New Beginnings because I've seen the broken hearts and distressed lives of women who have suffered because of abortion. And I am so excited about what Brenda is doing. I'm convinced of the need for advocates for unborn children whose lives need to be protected. And Amanda Wheelock and her ultrasound skills are part of bonding women to their babies. And I know that someone has to be the voice to tell young people that God's plan is best when it comes to sexual expression. And Tammy Helmuth is really good at that. I know the hearts, commitment, and abilities of all the women serving God with New Beginnings, and the board. And I know my time and my money are being wisely invested. New Beginnings is continually growing their influence in the community and expanding their ministry opportunities. And there are many opportunities for you to be involved. Amanda Jo already mentioned some. If you have a desire, we have an opportunity. Just call the center at 326-0404. Soon we'll be starting construction on our Deer River building, which will house a New Beginnings branch office and the Sweetwaters Girls Ranch, which is a ministry separate from New Beginnings that will be helping girls and young women heal and transition from sex trafficking. This building will also give us the opportunity to house pregnant women who need a safe place to stay. This will be a very unique ministry combination. We will need volunteers with construction skills and eventually staff for this new ministry opportunity. Your prayers and financial support are also supremely important. Our operating budget is about $200,000 a year, most of which comes from faithful ministry partners like many of you, and we are very thankful for you. We owe about $102,000 on our building in Grand Rapids. We would love to pay that off in the next 2 years rather than over the next 10. Who wants to help? There will also be remodeling costs for our Deer River building, and there's costs in preparing even a presentation like this. So there are 3 ways you can give. You can mail your partnership gifts to New Beginnings at Post Office Box 213, Grand Rapids, Minnesota 55744. You can donate on our website, www.newbeginningspregnancy.com, or you can set up a recurring support through your bank. Sometimes as a board member, this need for finances to carry on the ministry can seem overwhelming to me. But then I remember who's really in charge and his faithfulness in the past. So I know that through you, he will continue to bless us with the finances we need to love and serve those that he directs to our care. So thank you from all of us at New Beginnings. Thank you very much.
Kyan's appeal provides a backdrop for the keynote address. Viewing friends, if you have heard the voice of Nikki Corbin on Life 97.3 or KTIS, raise your hand. Go ahead. We are honored to have this influential Christian communicator agree to share her heart and talents for this occasion. What a thrill for me, for us, to meet Nikki in person and listen to the message she's entitled, Beautifully Rooted.
Hi, I'm Nikki Corbin, station manager and on-air host at Life 97.3. If you haven't heard of us, we are a Christian radio station based in Duluth, but you can also hear us in the Grand Rapids area at 88.1 FM and in the Hibbing and surrounding areas at 102.9 FM. I'm so thankful to be here and am happy you are too. Such a weird year, but I do love how we have adapted and got creative in many areas of our life. So here we are, together online. Technology's pretty cool sometimes, isn't it? What a great organization New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center is. They provide more than the physical, basic needs for families. They provide the spiritual guidance and growth needed to thrive and not just survive. You know, most people say that basic needs are things like air and water, food and shelter. I'd add hope, a sense of purpose and worth. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I've struggled with hope and worth for a long time. In fact, I can tell you the moment it all took a turn for the worse. I was in 2nd grade and I needed glasses. I got those big light blue glasses, and let me tell you, glasses weren't cool back then like they are now. And something in me switched. I was 7. and my spirit was broken, and I went from a perky little girl to shy and silent. My best friend from 6th grade, who I actually became good friends with later on, didn't even remember me talking to her in 6th grade. I can't tell you why that happened, except I am certain it wasn't just the glasses. The summer after 6th grade, I got contacts and I did a bit of a 180. I actually talked, and some joke that I haven't stopped since. Makes sense, right? But I continued to spend years analyzing my peers, the trends, trying to figure out where and how to fit in. I created versions of myself I thought fit the crowd I was in. I tried to fill this void with people, with relationships, with poor decisions. But here's the thing about people, they will always let you down. You will never find yourself in someone else. It's only through coming to know the one who created you will you ever find your hope and purpose. I grew up as a bit of a Christmas and Easter Christian. Christianity was just something you did to look like a good person, not something that was authentic and real and life-changing. I knew of Jesus, I just didn't know Jesus. So fast forward to college, and a friend invited me to a service done by what was then Campus Crusade for Christ, which is now Cru. And I was a little confused. I couldn't get over the fact that they wanted to go to church. I mean, their parents weren't here. They weren't gonna know if they didn't go. But maybe there was more that I didn't understand. So, not wanting to disappoint someone, I said yes. And Jesus met me there. Like the real Jesus, not a character, not a figment of someone else's imagination, the real living God. And he saw me. He met me. I started to slowly spend time with him. I went to church, I went to a Bible study, I prayed, and I learned that to be a Christian meant a relationship with Jesus. My life up until that point kind of felt like I was trying to run a race through sinking sand. Like with every failed relationship, every inauthentic persona, I felt myself fade. I tried to root myself in the approval of others, only to find my true self-worth and purpose with my roots planted firmly in Jesus. There's a song that I love where the chorus says, "On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand." People fail. Jobs, money, status, material things, they're all temporary. But God is, was, and always will be. Unchanging and trustworthy, loving, powerful, wise, forgiving. Get the picture? Is pretty cool. So why waste our time trying to plant ourselves and our worth in places that change and shift and are unreliable? So why does this matter? How does this intentionality of being rooted in Jesus make a difference? Well, Colossians 2:7 says, "Let your roots grow down into him, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness." Did you catch that? Your faith will grow strong, and you will overflow with thankfulness. Thankfulness has a direct correlation to your happiness. Thankful hearts are happy hearts because you see the beauty in each day. Now, I know not all days feel good, but there is good in every day if we look for it. And I don't know about you, but I want happiness in my days. I want to be steered toward a thankful heart. Jeremiah 17:8 says, "They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit." Whoa, let's break that down for a second. These trees are planted along a riverbank, and they don't section off the water. They soak it in, and it affects the whole tree. That living water, we have access to. It nourishes our whole self, allowing us to flourish. It's a firm foundation, and trusting Jesus with your whole life, your whole heart, will help you battle through those seasons of life that feel like fire. That heat, those intense, sometimes painful, hard times. We know they happen. Maybe it's now. Maybe it's coming. We know what happens, we've all been there, but that living water, Jesus, brings comfort and peace, guidance, and even joy during these times. He is there when it feels like nothing is happening. That drought. It's a waiting season. It's a season that is dry, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Those times you are just about ready to shrivel and give up. He can be there to bring hope, to fill your cup with living water that nourishes the soul, bringing purpose and perseverance, peace that surpasses understanding. And not only will he help you through, but wait, it says their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. It seems almost unbelievable, but it's real. In the hardest seasons of our life, God still works. He still moves. He still allows us to learn and grow and flourish, producing better versions of ourselves. In the midst of our troubles, he can turn the ashes into beauty, giving us everything we need and more, even when it's hard. You know, there have been times in my life where I have seriously questioned how on earth I would get through this if it wasn't for my trust in Jesus and the hope that that brings. And if I'm being honest, I've felt that way in these past few months. It would be so easy to falter, to give up if we didn't know Jesus. Think about a tree in a windstorm. If their root system is strong enough, it will survive the storm. And the same goes for me and you. When we are rooted in Jesus, there will be no way that the things of this world or the troubles and storms of this life will uproot us. We can stand tall with our roots planted deep, no matter our circumstances. So what does it even mean to be rooted in Jesus? Well, there's a blog that I really like. It's called Immeasurably More. It's so good. The author, Tara Aman, put it well when she said that there are 4 things to consider when understanding what it means to truly be rooted in Jesus. So here's what she said, and I'll kind of expand on it a little bit. She said, 1 is having a strong desire to know and love Christ, no matter what. You know, this is a heart commitment to seek God and love him no matter the stage of life. It seems when things are good, it's easy to love God and maybe leave him alone. I mean, things are good, you're happy and you don't need him. When things are hard, perhaps we spend more time with him, but probably aren't as happy with him as we would like because things aren't going so well. Let's choose to seek and to love God no matter what. Next is submitting to his lead and trusting his power. I mean, truly using every opportunity to seek God's will and guidance in every day and trusting he's got this, no matter how big or even small. Turning every worry from small things like, oh my gosh, where are my keys? To the big scary things in life, into opportunities to trust him deeper. Do you remember the story of Job? Boy, that was an extreme example of unwavering trust and faith. I mean, Job lost everything. His livelihood, his help, all of his 10 children. And then he came down with painful sores all over his body. I mean, icing on the cake. His wife tells him to turn from God. His friends tell him that, boy, he must be a super bad dude because this is happening to him, and that likely his children all brought death on themselves. Wait, what? There is hardship and negativity all around him. And yet, he turns to God and trusts his faithfulness, his guidance, and his power to help him overcome. And God does. Because God does. For Job, for us. Submit to his lead and trust his power and faithfulness. Next is finding our identity in Christ and living it out. Not seeking validation and purpose from others, but looking to God to guide and assure you. I am one who needs to hear this a lot, to continue to see this. It's not easy, and particularly in the world we live in today, where everyone constantly is telling you who to be and how you don't measure up. Hello, marketing world. Looking at you, kid. God approved of you long before anyone else had a chance to say otherwise. He looked at this world and said, it needed one of you. Psalm 139:13 through 18 says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me." You are loved. You are treasured. And you have a reason and purpose to be here. So live that out. God has good things for you. Follow his lead. Listen to all the good things that he has to say about you and go into the world with that in mind and with what I like to call Godfidence. Yeah, he's got your back. When you have reached your limits, he is there. You can do it because God is by your side and on your side. Lastly, striving to grow in our love for him daily. You know, I once heard, and I absolutely love this, every day is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift to him. So how are you loving him today? Are you spending time with him? Are you showing someone else his love? Do you ever wonder why God is called things like solid rock or tree of life or firm foundation? Well, because he is steady and sure. And digging our roots into perfectionism or comparison or society or other people's opinions will only leave us vulnerable. The enemy wants us to put our trust in the things of this world because he knows it won't last. We'll be uprooted in no time. It's a false sense of security, and those roots will never sustain or grow us. So that's why we must grow our roots deep down into Christ. So where are your roots? It's an intentional journey. It's not always easy, but it is by far the most important and fruitful one. Did you know that New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center makes it their mission to nourish every part of the families they serve? Helping meet the worldly needs and striving to deepen their roots in Jesus so that these families don't just survive, but thrive. I want to tell you a story. It was 1961, and a young Helen was living the typical teenage life. She met a man, and they started a wonderful relationship together. And at the tender age of 17, she found out that she was pregnant. This man, who ended up being married with a family of his own, rejected her and rejected the baby. So, like a typical teenager, Helen ran home to her parents, the ones who have supported and loved her all of her life. But regardless of that love, it was a different time, and her parents wanted nothing to do with this scandal. They told her to leave and not come back with a baby. A heartbroken, scared Helen was now set to weigh her options. Does she terminate the pregnancy? What about adoption? But where would she live and how would she get medical care? Her parents said she couldn't come home. Can you imagine that despair? Someone pointed Helen to a maternity home. Someone told her that this baby is valuable and could have a future, a beautiful future. So she chose to spend the rest of her pregnancy at this home. And in May of 1962, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Meanwhile, in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, a lovely couple, Charles and Idella, who struggled with infertility, prayed for a baby to love and nurture. And Helen's sweet baby girl became the beloved daughter of Charles and Idella. I want to thank my grandmother, Helen, for choosing life. I want to thank that person who encouraged her that there were other options, that there was hope and a future not only for her child, but for her. And I'm here because someone cared enough to show her a different way. I'm here because Helen actively chose life. I'm here. I wish I could tell you that Helen lived a long, happy life. Although she had a maternity home to support her medically and with a temporary home, this place was that and only that. There's no emotional, financial, or needs support. There was no Christ-centered encouragement. Helen struggled throughout much of her life. The stigma, the shame, the guilt all took its toll, and the storms in her life easily impacted her. But what if she had found a place like New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center? What if Helen had been given the tools to support her? What if she had been shown the source of her true worth, her value, the source of hope and peace and joy? That there is forgiveness and freedom from that guilt and shame. That both her and her child are held by a loving God. Throughout this time together, you have heard story after story of lives and hearts changed and encouraged because of the work that the team at New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center gives. They know that they will never look someone in the eye that God does not love, and they live it out. They become the hands and feet of Jesus and give these families the tools they need to survive. They use their resources and tools to weed out any obstacles: food insecurity, housing, medical needs, feelings of unworthiness and shame, lack of knowledge, etc. And then they so beautifully show them and teach them about Jesus. And their roots start to grow deeper into Him, the firm foundation, the place where it turns from surviving to thriving, where the storms that may rage will be met with a steadfast trust and perseverance, even thankfulness, and always love, where freedom is felt and shame and guilt disappear and are replaced by an everlasting peace, finding their worth and the value of life, each life. So let's be intentional about our roots. Are we growing and strengthening our relationship with Jesus, allowing our roots to grow deep and therefore our fruit to overflow? Is that fruit allowing us to help strengthen others as God would want? Right now, you have an opportunity. Reconnect with God, and then choose to allow the fruit, the blessings He has given you, to help support an organization that saves and supports families, that works through the obstacles these friends face and turns people to Jesus, allowing their roots to grow deeper in Him, so deep that they have an everlasting hope. I leave you with this. It's my prayer for you, Ephesians 3:16 through 18. I pray that from His glorious, unlimited resources, He will empower you with inner strength through the Spirit. Then Christ will make His home in your hearts as you trust in Him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep His love is. And I add, for you, how deep His love is for you. Thank you.
Nikki's powerful story and her Christian radio ministry are the result of someone helping her grandmother Helen choose life. I wonder how you might answer her motivational challenge. Where will you plant your roots? Returning the envelope or giving online at our website is an important way you can sow and bear fruit. This is our main fundraiser, and we need help at this time. Would you partner with New Beginnings to help others hear the gospel, learn how to apply biblically based principles, and understand that God cares for them as they receive practical assistance to meet their immediate needs? We appreciate your prayerful consideration of how to be supportive. Please join me. Heavenly Father, we thank You, the source of every good thing, for Your sustaining love and power to meet every need and transform lives in the process. Please bless each one viewing in whatever circumstance they find themselves right now, with wisdom, courage, and Your peace as they rest in Your care. We confess our utter dependence on You and ask that You grant us obedient hearts to do what You have called us to do for the praise, glory, and honor of Jesus Christ. Amen. In conclusion, I want to thank you on behalf of all involved in the front lines at New Beginnings Pregnancy Care Center for joining in this Virtual Harvest Fundraiser by watching this video that was produced by John Orison of Parthay Productions. I also want to recognize the volunteer organizers for this program: Jill Almendinger, Marilyn Carlson, AJ Grovenberg, Dale and Karen Kaiser, Kathy Metzer, and Chris Oren. Together, let's shine the light of God's design for sexuality and marriage so that new beginnings are possible as life from the womb is cherished and nurtured, families thrive, and that which is good and right is preserved in this community.